And that's the problem with working with laptops that go to sleep when you want them to do something. So let's go back, and I just use the up arrow to re-invoke that command. And let's see if it works now. That's a little bit better. I had to go over and wake up the laptop. So now we see that we actually are getting through the router and the address was correct. So let's take a little look at something a little bit different here. Routers are so complex that they are virtual computers, and most routers have a web server. So if we invoke our favorite web browser, and instead of going to our favorite radio stations or other things, we go in and use the HTTP protocol, one of the many on the internet, and we now tell it that we really want to go to 192.168.10. And remember, our gateway and DHCP server was at 1, so let's see what that brings up. So now pops up our web server that's actually in the router. Seeing this has been reset, so it's factory default. We have a username of admin on this particular make and model. There is no password, it's left blank. But it does give us an additional level of security in which we have to re-enter and prove that we are human. Some letters. We can see those are C, and I'm guessing that's a 0. We'll see, bingo, that was correct. So now let's maximize this. This is actually a web server inside the router that gives us access in a menu system to all the parameters that we need. Let's focus this time on network settings, and we'll see that the router settings are set, comes up at 192.168.10.1. Notice the subnet. And if you wanted to change the name of the router so that it's a little bit more friendly or specific to your needs, you can do that. The DHCP server that we were discussing in lecture, we can, in this router, actually tell it what range of client IP addresses we want to give out, we want to make available, and how long the lease is, and whether it broadcasts that capability. We'll talk more about that in lecture. Netbios is a older, more simple protocol, which you may run into, and WinSIP is also something that used to be used quite a bit. The other thing I want to show to you here is that down at the bottom, the router keeps track of what clients are hooked into it. And it gives the addresses that it is given to the different machines. I have a desktop which has IP address of 101. I have a laptop of 102. If I'd set the time date calendar correctly in the router, it would give me a date and a time that the lease on those IP addresses are going to expire. And if somebody's causing you problems on your network, you can go in and revoke their IP address, and therefore they won't be available to do anything. There's a lot of different advanced capability. One of the ones that you might be kind of interested in is quality of service engine. That tells you can throttle down on an IP basis who gets what part of your throughput. Typically there's a status of the router so that you can find out when it got started, how long it's been up, who's connected to it, is the wireless enabled, and sure enough this one is operational, and who is connected via the LAN. So there's lots and lots of functionality and capability built into all the routers. And as you may notice that you can get an actual certification with Cisco on some of their routers. So this should be enough to get us started on routers. Thank you very much, and see you next time.